Hey, you guys, I've got to ask you that question. Are you ready to look back and just reflect? Yep, it's that time of year. The one thing I want to encourage you to do as we are just around the corner from Christmas, you can see the Chrissy tree in the back there, is we've got to do three things. These are three must-have things that I'd like you to do before the year ends. Are you with me? Let's have a chat about it. Hey guys, it's Adam Scougall from the So You Want to Be an Interior Designer podcast, and we are at episode 12, and we are at the final episode for the year. So I'm super excited to have you here. It's finally coming around. It's Christmas time, and I really want to have a chat to you today just about, how your year has gone and what you plan to do with next year. But first and foremost, I'll let you know who this is a podcast on Apple. It's a podcast on YouTube. I'll let you know who I designed this one for. It's really for you mid-career aspiring interior design or decorating solopreneurs that need support in building their own interior design business while you're working 9 to 5. So I know lots about this. My main claim to fame here, guys, is diversify your incomes before you leave any 9 to 5 job. Be prepared to make sure that you got backup. Guys, jumping in here quickly to ask you, are you flailing in your interior design decorating business or your interior design business, whatever you want to call it? Do you need some guidance? If so, if you'd like a tailored report that addresses some of the opportunities you've got and acknowledges the strength, which is an awesome thing, we all want to know where we're strong in our business, then take the quiz. The quiz now is over on my new website, adamscougall.com/podcast. Scroll down and see where it says take the design quiz. When you take the design quiz, you'll be given 15 very insightful questions that will give insightful responses, and it'll help you to quickly determine where you're sitting at. Again, where do you need some help? This quiz is going to give you a report that tells you exactly where your opportunities are. And where are you sort of kicking it out of the ballpark? You'll get that too confirmed in a report to you. So if you would like to take my quiz, go ahead and do it. It's a great time of the year to do it. End of the year. adamscougall.com/podcast. There it is right there. Take the quiz and get that fabulous report back and let me know how you go. But what I wanted to do today is really sit with you for a few minutes and talk about what's happened this year. I'm thinking about what's happened for me, and I really want to hand the mic over to you, our brains, let's align them at least so that we can think about what we've achieved in the last 12 months. So there are three things. The benchmark for this episode, our final episode for the year, is to really ask ourselves three questions. What I want to say is there are three things that we really must be doing before the year ends, and I think they're really important. I am a reflective type of person, and I want to encourage you to do the same. Hopefully you're the type of person that can look back and look at where the opportunities lie for the next year. You know, we're all human. We all make lots of mistakes all the time, but of course I consider them to be must-takes. We must make them, otherwise how would we ever learn? I'm going to get on with the first question. There are three questions I want to ask you today. And the very first one is a real positive one. And I think it's worth thinking about, or I think it's very much worth reflecting on today with you. Number one is, what is your biggest achievement? Now, this is something that achievements are things that can sometimes just sort of creep up to us. We're working on something and we get it done, and then we kind of forget that we've even achieved it. Is that something that you relate to? It's something that I do relate to. And as a solopreneur, and that's who I'm really talking to, you guys out there that are solopreneur interior designers or decorators, like myself, as a solopreneur, we are really the ones that need to take hold of the fact that we've achieved something significant in the year and make sure that we celebrate and acknowledge it and pretty much document that. So the first thing that I want to ask you is, what was your biggest achievement for this last 12 months? It could be that you ran your first design job. And if you've done that, congratulations. How was that experience? Did it frighten you? Did you learn a lot from it? And are you gearing and ready to go for your second design job if you've just done your first? Have you just finished your course? Have you done some study? Good on you. Study is a great thing to do, whether you're doing a decorating certificate or a full course in interior design, a degree. It is absolutely great to study. I think not so much even for the qualification, but so that you can get feedback from your teachers and peers and from people that will bolster your decision to continue on in the industry. We need that. We do need positive reinforcement from our colleagues. We might know that we've got the talent, and I hope you do recognise that you have talent, but we also need the support and the feedback from our colleagues when it's constructive and positive. So did you finish your course and you're ready to move forward into the new year? That would be a great position to be in, I think. A lot of hope for the new year. The other thing that I want to ask you about, your biggest achievement is, have you decided that it could be that you've decided to make decorating or design your life's purpose? That sounds pretty dramatic, I know. But I just want to put this into perspective, especially for you guys out there that are a little bit older. I went through years, all of my younger years, and I did different things. I did acting. I was a child actor. You can look me up online, and I've been in a couple of films back in the day. For a while there, I thought that maybe I was going to be an actor, and that was going to be what I did, when I grew up. At one time, I wanted to be a singer as well, but that didn't happen either. Now, if I was really, really passionate about both of those things, I probably could have made it happen. But what happened is I realised that I was in my 30s and I kind of hadn't really gone after either of those creative passions. But I did have a passion that I knew that I could follow, whether I was young or whether I was older, and that was interior decorating and design. So I got stuck into that. It didn't really matter too how I looked. When I was young, I was very worried about how I looked and what people thought of me, and just dreadfully kind of shy about how I looked. And that really hindered my progress in those other areas that I just spoke about. But have you decided that design or decorating is your passion in life? What I want to say is the great thing about being a little bit older, if you are, is that it's a great thing to focus on doing. I did turn around that missing part of my life, and I hope you do too if it's a missing part of yours, in terms of having a creative outlet that I could own. When I do a decorating or design job, it's all my own vision. I'm not pulling in other people's ideas or visions to make that work. I mean, I get help, especially with drawing and CAD drawings and all of that stuff. We need builders to build houses. We need joiners to create fabulous cabinetry, for example. So we don't do all that. I don't do all that. But I do have the ideas, and I pull all of the pieces together so that eventuates into what's normally a pretty fabulous outcome. So is it your life's purpose? If you decided that this last year that you're going to make a real decision for the next year to make design or decorating your life's purpose. So I don't know, that's just slipped into what's your biggest achievement. Think about your achievements, but also think, am I reflecting about whether or not this is the right thing for me, and are you full throttle for the next 12 months? Question 2 is, how can you back yourself more? Do you know what I'm talking about there? I was thinking about this, and I think that a lot of time in life we get wayloaded by other people's opinions about what we should be doing, other people's ideas. Sometimes we get lots of feedback. Sometimes we ask for the feedback, and sometimes we don't, but we get it anyway. But the one thing that I'd like to ask you to reflect on is whether your decisions that you made this year were all your own. And are you happy with the fact that any movements or changes you made were based on what you really thought was the right thing for you? That's a really important one. So I want to ask you that. That's been something that I've realized that I need to work on in my life. I want to make sure that my decisions are my own and that I'm moving forward into the new year, making my own decisions. I'll give you an example. I decided to go, and I've been talking about this last couple of episodes, to Orlando this year to a fabulous conference called Luann Live, run by Luann Nagara, who's a fabulous podcaster, and she supports and runs whole lot of fabulous programs for people that are studying or working in the design industry, interior design that is. So I decided I'd do that. I knew there was a cost involved. It wasn't cheap. The AUD dollar to USD is quite poor at the moment, but I decided to do it anyway. But I did get some feedback from a friend of mine, kind of flippant feedback at one point, and she said to me, if I were you, I wouldn't be going over to Orlando. I would invest the money that you'll spend on that whole trip onto your mortgage. Just my feedback. Now, did I ask for that feedback? I didn't ask for the feedback. But did I take on board what she said for 5 minutes and think, gee, is that something that I should consider, is just thinking about the financial side of it? But you do have to really think about what is the right thing for you. And I was just thinking, if I didn't go on that US trip and I did just save that money, put it on the mortgage, what would that look like? What would I have missed out on? Now, I know there's a number of things that I would have missed out on. I would have missed out on reconnecting with a coach called Nancy Ganser-Corfer, who I met at the event, who I'd worked with a few years earlier online, but I'm connected with her one-on-one again during the conference. And then I had a session with her when I came back, because we decided that she would have some ideas for me in my new coaching business for newbie interior designers that she'd like to share with me. So I set up a session with her recently, and she gave me some fabulous ideas that I hadn't even thought of. One of those is running a summit next year to build my email list and contacts. I won't get into the details of what happens with the summit. You can keep me accountable to that as I work on that in the first 3 months of the year. I'll be running a summit and having speakers that will be on a panel. Just wait and stick with me. It'll happen early next year. But she gave me that idea. It was kind of just a very quick reflection on something that I could do to build my audience. But I have since got stuck on that thought and have been investigating how to run a summit, who I can get panels that support the design industry, that can promote this event to their email list, which means that I can get people coming to me, joining my email list from some other industry experts that I will have as guests and panelists. Fingers crossed for this summit. But I didn't even think of an idea like this. I wasn't thinking of an idea like this, even though I'd heard of a summit some time ago. So what I'm saying is, I could have just chucked that money on the mortgage, but then again, would I have bumped into the people I did, learned so much about different ways that I can add value to my business and to the people that are coming to learn from me, because we're always learning, I'm still learning, or would I have learned any of that if I'd have just done what she suggested and keep the money or put it into the mortgage? So, you know, sometimes in life we really have to back ourselves up and go with what we feel is the best option. So are you doing that? Are you backing yourself up more? That was question 2. Now, the last one that I want to ask you is, do you have a plan for next year? So you know what can happen, don't you? We very quickly can get into the new year. And I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions, which are very flippant. I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to not do this, or not eat junk, or, you know, whatever. I'm talking about a real plan so that in January, you know what you're going to be doing in January to support your business. So I've been talking about goal setting for the last few weeks, and I've really gone quite hard on creating my own goals for the next year, 2024. So I have a pretty robust plan in there. Some of it's a bit scary, but it is in there now as a concrete plan. Now, if I leave that and I sort of merge into January and I get over Christmas, might take some time off, we take some time off. It sort of gets towards the end of Jan. We get sort of wayloaded by things, and we don't quite have a plan. You know, we can get to March before we even start thinking about what it was that we were going to be kicking off in the new year, and some of those exciting ideas for our business and for ourselves that we had in our mind the year before that we hadn't quite planned for. So if you haven't got a plan, have a think about creating one before Jan 1st, or even if you kind of first week of Jan, that's when you got the time. Start to create this plan. Throw some things in there. Don't make it too lengthy. But have you got a plan for 2024? I think it's really important to keep on track. I've talked about a couple of things that I want to do, and I want to ask you, what is it that you can do to put into your plan that is exciting, things that you haven't done, and that really bolster you in terms of where you're going in your design career? A couple of things to think about. Have you got some marketing in the pipeline? What marketing are you doing? When I talk about not marketing, I'm not talking about the boring old SEO and Google Ads and all that stuff. I'm talking about, what about you create a video for one of your projects where you do a walkthrough? You talk about all the things that you love the most. You could do videos on how you're styling a coffee table, how you pull a color palette together. Show people your personality and show them who you are. There's no you sitting on there on some website with nice pictures and a little tiny sort of corporate photo of you where people don't really get your personality. One thing I've realized is that people work with people because they like them and they trust them and they align with who they are as a person and just the way they are. A lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but the people that come to me know who I am pretty much. So when I walk in the door, they've already seen me. They've seen my videos. They can pretty much guess that I'm not a toughy person. I'm not stuck up. And I don't have a lot of plums falling out of my mouth. Rah, 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 rah. I'm just a plain old dude that loves what he does and is very creative, but I'm very just down to earth and just me. You know, it is who I am. A little bit rough around the edges, but that's me. I love doing video. Can you do video? If you haven't done any, consider doing it. How can you enter awards? I'm just thinking, I've got one down there for me, the Dulux Colour Awards. I did a colourful project earlier this year with some nice painted detail in sections. Maybe that could be entered into the Dulux Colour Awards. So I mightn't be successful, but I've got it in there to enter before the end of February. But can you actually enter a colour award, or can you enter a room in, top 50 most beautiful rooms? We've got a magazine here called House and Garden that publishes the top 50 rooms in Australia, most beautiful rooms every year. Why not try out one of your rooms that you've photographed if you have and are really proud of, to see if you can get it published like that? Or even just if you've got a project and you haven't even thought about sending it through to a magazine, why not do it and see what you can achieve? I bet you can achieve so much more than you have even considered that you can, just by placing some effort and taking maybe one step forward when you otherwise wouldn't have bothered to do that because you're a bit scared. It's okay. It's not a put down. But put some things in there in your plan that really see you stretch a bit in terms of how you present to the world. That's what I want to say. So there's lots of things you can do. I could go on all day. The other thing I want to ask you with planning, though this is really important, have you got all of your process stuff sorted? Have you got a contract? If you don't have a contract and a welcome packet that shows people, tells them all about you and how you work and the hours that you work, whether you'll accept SMS messages or just phone or email, or when you like to speak to clients, when you don't, no one should be calling you at 10 o'clock on a Sunday evening for a chat about, the cushions on the sofa. Then, the question I'm asking here is, have you got all that stuff sorted, all the process stuff? You need a good contract that helps you to run your business. You need a welcome packet, really, when you start with a new client. How do you run a consultation? Are you asking all those pertinent questions that you need to know from your client before you can go and create a design plan, for example? If you haven't got all that stuff, there are plenty of resources out there for you to go in, obtain that, and start to structure a really sound list of processes. If you haven't got that in your mix, start thinking about how you're going to smarten and tweak all that up for 2024. Now, of course, if you need any help with that, you can always reach out to me at you can reach out to me directly, adam@adamscougall.com. If you would like to have a 30-minute chat about it, I'd love to have a chat to you. Now, the one thing I didn't mention in the beginning of this whole episode, the very final episode for 2023, is that we have a quiz. And if you're flailing in your design business, if you're in your decorating business or your decorating business, and you want a little bit of guidance I've created a quiz that's only 15 questions. It only takes about 2.5 minutes for you to complete. But go to my revised website. I just refreshed my website in the last couple of weeks. Go over to the podcast page. The address is adamscougall.com/podcast. And if you scroll down, you'll see a link to the design quiz. You fill in the 15 questions. I give you a specific report on where I have some recommendations for you based on some of the strengths and some of the opportunities that come out of that survey. So if you'd like to do that, here it is. There's the link, adamscougall.com/podcast. Scroll down a bit and you'll see design quiz. Take the quiz. I would love to know how that all works out for you. I'd love to know the feedback you get from that. So there we go. Final one for the year. I've really loved speaking to you. It's been such an achievement. We were talking about achievements. Biggest achievement for me, I think, this year was starting the podcast. I have wanted to start a podcast for about 3 or 4 years. And in September, I launched. I just wanted to get it out there. And we're 12 episodes in and finishing up for the year. Twinkling Christmas tree in the background there. I hope that you have a wonderful break. I hope that you get some time to have a break. I hope that you cherish the people around you. I know you do. Cherish the friends. If you haven't got a lot of family around or that you're not getting the support you need, maybe from people that are considered family, reach out to your friends. Your friends can also be your family. And friends are family. My friends are my family. And I've also got a lovely family as well. So I'm lucky there. But whatever your situation is, reach out and get the help you need for 2024. I am here for you. I'm looking forward to 2024 and I hope you stick with me. We're doing a lot of different things next year. I'm doing some interview sessions with other people in the industry starting off. We will take a break. We will come back at the end of January. I think it's the 23rd of January. But look out. Take the quiz. Get on my email list to stay in contact with me as well. You'll be on my email list if you take the quiz. And stick with me for next year. I'm really excited about it. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you and wish you a safe and happy Christmas. And I look forward to seeing you back here at the end of Jan 2024. All the very best, guys. Take care. See ya.